Welcome back and thanks for clicking on this video. Today I thought I'd talk about how we should be more quote-unquote creepy in dating, and this came around for a few reasons. One of my old videos, I kind of saw it the other day, where I talked about the creepy messages that men send, and also I watched another video by another creator called Tiffany Ferg, and it was all about how this woman had approached her gym crush. And I immediately thought back to the videos I've made in the past, which you can go and check out. But what was funny about it was the difference in responses between the different generations. So I obviously class myself as a millennial, I'm in that kind of age bracket, versus the Gen Z reaction. And the Gen Z reaction to this video was so strong that Tiffany actually pulled the video because people were saying it was a breach of data protection and the video shouldn't have been made, and this person was stalking this person at the gym. And then I thought about my content. I was like, shit, I've probably broken a few rules. There was a distinct difference between the reactions to it. The people under 30 thought that it shouldn't be allowed to happen. You should not approach anyone at the gym under any circumstances. And then there was someone like me that thought, what is the harm? It doesn't bother me at all. Someone approaching someone at the gym is completely normal. And it definitely got me thinking how in the media, in recent years, since Me Too, men have been told that they can't approach women. Men have been told that any kind of approaching woman that isn't on a dating app is seen as creepy and predatory. And that's simply not true. The trouble is, women want to be approached. There's women like me that want to be approached in a nice, civilized way. Say you're wearing a hoodie and you're approaching women on the street and it's dark. That is obviously the wrong time to approach women. And I generally don't think men are doing that. But I've seen recently, there's a lot on social media about not approaching women, how women don't want to be approached, but that simply isn't true. The women that don't want to be approached are people that are probably already in a relationship, so they do not want to be approached, and then talking about this online saying they don't want to be approached. Or they are going to be that small percentage of women that will get hit on by any man possible. And yeah, you're going to get some women that are quote unquote a 10 out of 10. And I don't like to put numbers on people. I think it's vile. But just for the sake of an argument, you're going to get these women that are facially symmetrical. They have a great body and are going to get approached by men. And obviously I can imagine if I was approached constantly day after day, I would find it tiring. But in the same way, you can't then go on social media and preach about it and say, we don't want to be approached, because that is generally harming women that do want to be approached. And a lot of women, they still want the man to take the lead role of approaching women. A lot of women generally don't like to do the approaching because women are told since childhood that men want sex every day, all the time. They think about sex every 5 seconds. And it's drummed into women that if we approach men and they turn us down, that there is something wrong with us, that it's not simply that the man isn't interested. We are told as women that if a man turns us down and says no, we are told that there is something wrong with us physically. And women internalize that. So this is the main reason why women don't like to approach, because it generally knocks a woman's self-esteem. So this is why women hate approaching, because it definitely affects women more. And I thought the video was absolutely fine. It was just two women discussing a topic. And the Gen Zs took this way out of context. And in the end, Tiffany had to pull the video. And if Tiffany is watching this, I would urge her to put the video back up, because you can't fall prey to the mob. The mob, the Gen Z mob that are telling people how to act and how to be. Because the honest answer is, if you want anything in life, you have to go out there, you have to push, and you have to sadly be a bit creepy. And obviously I talk about my experiences online, but I never mention names. Nobody even knows my name. Nobody knows my name. Nobody knows where I live. It's completely anonymous. But the fact is, if you want anything in life, you're going to have to put yourself out there and be a bit creepy. I've had to put myself online and talk about personal things and probably come across a bit creepy. Because if you don't put yourself out there, then you're not going to win, first of all. And do you want to be that boring person at the dinner party that sits down and has nothing to talk about, has no anecdotes because they have gone through life not offending anyone, not approaching anyone, not asking anyone out because they are so scared? And it doesn't help when certain creators put out a narrative that if men approach women, they're gonna end up in prison or something bad is gonna happen to them. If you're approaching a woman in a normal way, the majority of women take it fine or okay. As long as you're not stepping into her physical space, then you should be fine. And I know it's hard. I don't know, it's so hard to approach people, and I've documented my story of approaching people because it hasn't worked. But I still do not regret any of the situations where I have put myself out there and I've had to be quote unquote creepy. And I think if people want relationships in the real world, then they're going to have to put themselves out there and they're going to have to risk being creepy. Because if you don't put yourself out there, then you're not going to go on dates and you're not going to find anyone. And I was even talking to someone recently, and it was a new person that I haven't really talked about before, but I could almost feel that they were holding back, and I couldn't tell if this person was interested in me or not, because he wasn't complimenting me. He wasn't saying I was attractive at all. He wasn't showing any kind of interest, and he wasn't building any type of sexual chemistry. And I had to say to him, I was like, look, do you actually fancy me? You haven't given me any compliments. You haven't said that I'm pretty at all. Do you actually like me? Or is this just like, routine for you? And he was like, yeah, I do fancy you. I just don't want to say the wrong thing. And I think men are so scared at the moment of saying the wrong thing because a woman will take it the wrong way. And they're being told through the media that a small percentage of women are ruining it for the rest of women and the rest of men in general. Because 10 years ago, you could send a DM to someone and it was fine. Now people are worried about sending DMs because they're like, that's creepy. And even when I've sent DMs, I've been like, is this creepy? Is this weird? Showing my interest in someone. But just the initial showing interest in someone is absolutely fine. And we should do this more. We shouldn't be so reluctant to put ourselves out there. But obviously with the rise of social media, people are scared. People are scared they're going to be put on blast. And I know you can say I'm a hypocrite, I make videos, blah, blah, blah. But people are so scared of rejection that they're not living. And I get caught in this trap where men are just talking and talking and talking and not asking me out on a date. And this one guy I was talking to, I was just getting so bored because it was just small talk every day. I was like, I do not need any more small talk of you asking how my day is. I want to go out on a physical date, but men seem reluctant to actually go on physical dates. They just want to talk and talk and talk. And I had to put a stop to it because it wasn't going anywhere. He wasn't building up a rapport with me and it was just boring. And I even said to my friend, I was like, I'm chatting to someone, but I'm just so bored and I'm not feeling it. And she said, trust your gut, trust your gut. If you're not feeling it, you're not feeling it. So it's back to the drawing board. And then I was thinking about the so-called creepy instances in my life that I'd done. And one of them, I'll let you be the judge if this was creepy, but I was dating someone that I really liked and we'd been like dating for a while or whatever. And I bought 100 tea lights and it took me ages, but I set up all these tea lights in his name and I lit them all, and then I sent him a video saying that I loved him, like in like a little love heart, and I sent him that, and he sent me the response. He was like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And he was like, I don't know how I feel about this. I don't know how I feel about this. And I was like, have I been creepy in that moment, being vulnerable? Have I pushed it too far? Have I overstepped the mark? Have I turned into being creepy? And this was like years and years ago. And it's part of the reason why I am not so easy to open up now. It takes someone to really take their time with me to open up, because that was another instance where I was really vulnerable with someone and I thought it was really nice. I thought putting someone's name in tea lights and lighting them and send them a video to say how I felt about them, I thought that was a really nice thing to do. But he just took it the complete wrong way, as that is creepy. Why are you doing that as a woman? So I'm like telling you that story because yes, it is perceived as creepy, but I don't regret that I did that, because that was how I felt at the time and that was how I felt about that person. And in hindsight, they were completely the wrong person for me. And I probably didn't even love them at all. It was just all the emotions bubbling up. But I don't regret being creepy in that moment, because that's part of being human, is to put yourself out there and be vulnerable and communicate with another person. And that's sadly what the younger generation are missing, is because they are sitting behind their laptops and their phones and they're not putting themselves out there. They're not getting rejected. They're not going out there meeting someone, having sex and it not working out, because they're so scared about what society's telling them, and they're so scared that a woman is going to do XYZ if they have sex with them. I think it's an interesting topic. Should we be more creepy to fall in love? Should we slide into more DMs? Should we be more creepy? Should we ask more people out? Should we put ourselves out there? Should we approach people at the gym? I think we should. I think that is completely fine. I think we need to get away from the dating apps, and we need to get back to even building mixed friendship groups of males and females, and not going out with the sole intention to meet someone. I think we really need to get back to approaching how we used to do, approaching maybe 20 years ago, and being seen as a bit creepy, sending someone flowers, something that would be considered out there in today's standards, but 20 years ago would be seen as normal. And I really think we need to get back to that and just get off our bloody phones. Thanks for watching. As an aside for my OGs, I thought I'd tell you about another creepy story. So I don't know if I'm going to put this in, but about 4 years ago, oh my god, I actually feel a bit sick telling this story. About 4 years ago, I actually DM'd Matthew Hussey. So I DM'd him like 4 or 5 years ago, like he wasn't engaged at the time, like I thought he was single. And no surprise, I like didn't receive a response. But I said something like, I can't remember the exact wording, but I was like, I hope you're all right, because I watched a video and he was like, oh, I feel really bad at the moment. I'm having a really rough time. So I sent him a DM and I was like, oh, I hope you feel okay. Like, I hope you can see your family soon. No response. But, you know, do I regret it? No, because at the time I thought I'd just show a little bit of, you know, being nice to someone, and maybe at some point our paths will cross, and you know, that would be quite funny if we did actually meet. But just one initial message saying hi to someone is completely fine, people. But I just thought I'd tell you that little tidbit for people that are like listening, just to make them laugh.